Human Capital and Its Relation to Competitive Advantage by Andrew Dossett, Cade Johnson, and Murphy Nadauld. Today we are going to discuss the nature of human capital and the conditions under which human capital is a source of competitive advantage for an organization. Now, let's watch a short film in order to gain a better understanding of the nature of human capital.
Human capital is everything that an individual brings to a task at hand.
It is a repository of skills, of health, which can be used for economic activities, but more generally for realization of the potential of an individual.
Human capital is, of course, the capital that's in human beings instead of just machines and things like that.
It's their knowledge, their training, their skills, their life experience, their physical strength, their emotional strength, their overall health.
People have traditionally focused on a very narrow understanding of human capital, thinking about education and in particular schooling within formal contexts.
Any skills or knowledge that makes people more productive.
So human capital for me is really the ability to take control of your life.
A more empowered life, the ability to read and write, increase political participation, more knowledge for women. More and more the profession moves towards not thinking about development in this narrow sense of just per capita growth rates of income, but something that improves quality of life.
Now that we have basic background knowledge of the nature of human capital, let's look at why Gary Becker defines human capital as it is in his textbook, Human Capital, the Concise Encyclopedia of Economics. It is called human capital because people cannot be separated from their knowledge, skills, health, or values in the way they can be separated from their financial and physical assets. It is important to note that human capital appreciates instead of depreciates over time as it is used. It is actually quite the opposite. As an employee contributes to the general cause at hand, others feed off their contributions and increase the productivity of the firm, contrasting this with tangible objects which depreciate or lose value as they are used. And most importantly, the ultimate goal of human capital is to enhance organizational learning and build the knowledge and skills in the firm. So what is competitive advantage? A competitive advantage is an advantage enjoyed by an organization that can perform some aspect of its work better than competitors can, or in a way that competitors cannot duplicate, such that it offers products and services that are more valuable to customers. In other words, the business that can do something that others do not have the ability to do, or that does the same thing better and creates value, has a competitive advantage. The quote at the bottom by Jack Welch says, "If you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete." I now want to show a video of Warren Buffett discussing the importance of a competitive advantage.
We have all kinds of businesses. We own 73 businesses now. And in businesses, we're looking for an entity that has durable competitive advantage, somebody that not only is doing well now, but will do well 10 or 20 years from now. And in capitalism, when you have a wonderful business, it's like having an economic castle. And the nature of capitalism is that people want to come in and take your castle. It's perfectly understandable. I mean, if I'm selling television sets or something, there's going to be 10 other people that are going to try and sell a better television set. If I have a restaurant here in Omaha, people are going to try and copy my menu and give more parking and take my chef and so on. So capitalism's all about somebody coming and trying to take the castle. Now, what you need is you need a castle that has some durable competitive advantage, some castle that has a moat around it. And that moat, one of the best moats in many respects, is to be a low-cost producer. But sometimes the moat is just having more talent. I mean, if you're the heavyweight champion of the world and you keep knocking out people, you've got a competitive advantage as long as you can keep doing it. And it's very profitable if you're the one that happens to be able to do it. If you can turn out great motion pictures, I mean, Steven Spielberg, I mean, he's a fellow to bet on. And it has enormous economic value. Well, we're looking for that institutionalized. We're not looking for the best brain surgeon in town. We're looking for the Mayo Clinic. So we want an institution that, regardless of the person in charge, will maintain that competitive advantage over the decades. And we hope we find that in some businesses, and then we try to get the best person that we can to run them. Usually it's the person who's been running them.
Are you always right, or do you make mistakes?
No, we make mistakes. It wouldn't be any fun if we didn't make mistakes. I mean, if I went out and played golf and And every one of the 18 holes I hit a hole in one, I wouldn't be playing golf for very long. I mean, you have to go into the rough occasionally to make the game interesting. Not too often, though.
Jack Welch also said an organization's ability to learn and translate that learning into action rapidly is the ultimate competitive advantage. Jack Welch, during his tenure at GE, the company's value rose 4,000%. We see the example of a competitive advantage with Apple's iPod and Sony's Walkman MP3. Sony had control of the market years ago, but once Apple had a competitive advantage and made a better product, they took over the market share, and no one walks around with the Sony Walkman MP3 anymore. It is important to have the right people on your team to innovate and create products that are better than what is on the market. Human capital plays a major role in developments such as this.
Although human capital can be a source of competitive advantage, not all organizations have the resources necessary to do this. 3 measures of competitive advantage in regards to human capital are the value, rareness, and difficulty to imitate of the employees or the abilities of the employees in a given organization. As Paul Sparrow said, the world is becoming far more competitive and volatile than ever before, causing firms to seek to gain competitive advantage whenever and wherever possible. As traditional sources and means such as capital, technology, or location become less significant as a basis for competitive advantage, firms are turning to more innovative sources. One of these is the management of human resources. The value of human capital is defined as the extent to which individuals are capable of producing work that supports an organization's strategy for competing in the marketplace. For example, there are generally 2 strategies that organizations use to become profitable. The first strategy is the cost leadership strategy. This strategy focuses on providing low-cost products to consumers while maintaining an acceptable level of quality. Kia is a good example of this. They produce decent cars that run well and are a competitive price compared with other commuter cars. The other strategy frequently employed by organizations is the strategy of superior quality. This strategy focuses on differentiating product by having better quality than competitors. Lexus could be a good example of this. While Lexus brand cars have a higher price tag, they generally have better features than a Kia might. Human capital is imperative to strategic success. Managers are also highly valuable resources for maintaining a competitive advantage because they can have a direct influence on capital contributors like investors. Similarly, in order to maintain a competitive advantage, all employees must have a basic level of competence and capability. The people that a manager hires can make or break a company, which explains all the resources that go into recruiting and hiring employees. Rareness is defined as the extent to which the skills and talents of an organization's people are unique in the industry. 2 ways to create rarity within a company's human capital is by hiring from without and bringing those people on who have rare skills, or training from within to help existing employees develop rare qualities. Talent management and strategic human resource management, as described here, are also important strategies for helping employees develop desired capabilities. Finally, imitability is defined as the extent to which the skills and talents of an organization's people can be copied by other organizations. Having a valuable, rare, and difficult to imitate human capital pool will lead to a sustained competitive advantage. Examples of things within an organization that are difficult to imitate include culture, which can play a large role in an employee's skills and behaviors, hiring and retention incentives, including salaries, benefits, the type of people, and culture, and on-the-job training, which can help employees develop skills that would be hard to gain anywhere else.
And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for watching.